Welcome to Scotland and the traditional curtain raiser to the Great Run Series, the Bupa Great Edinburgh Cross Country. Once again, it's a team event between Great Britain, the USA and Europe. Getting us underway is a top-class invitation event featuring, amongst others, Ethiopia's Kenenisa Bekele and Kenya's Asbel Kiprop. There is Chris Thompson, silver medalist, second in the Bupa Great Birmingham run last season. Now, yeah, here we go, the tall figure. Well, Asbel Kiprop, of course, needs very little introduction these days. He's one of the greats, fantastic running last season, over 1,500 metres. In the Olympics, of course, he was injured, came right in at the end of the field. It was probably had a hamstring problem there.
6 times the world cross-country champion for Ethiopia, Kenenisa Bekele.
Well, Bekele, he enjoys this. Remember, this is the 25th running of these races. In 2001, he emerged as a senior and won this race. It was his first senior victory, so he has fond memories of this place. So 4 kilometres, 2 laps of a course that is in every sense challenging. I've already mentioned the fact that you'll see eventually that it will be very soft underfoot once they get into parts of this course. Very, very muddy. The amount of rain they've had in the United Kingdom has made a big difference to the outcome of races. Far more than that in the United Kingdom. But here in the Hollywood Park, it is a real opportunity for Bekele to show us the sort of form that we know he has. And remember that wonderful Great North Run last season when Haile Gebrselassie set the pace, and Mo Farah, of course, challenged Bekele, but Bekele held him off, and it was one of those great, great moments, and one of the finest, if not the finest, half marathons I've seen, in fact. The leader, Jonathan Davis. There is the course, starting off, and it really goes round the park and then towards the Haggis Now, which is adjacent to St Margaret's Lock, and back towards the finish. That's 2 kilometres. That last part is very, very tough. The Haggis Now is very, very steep and will certainly test. In fact, the whole course rises about 19 metres from start to finish. Taylor is there as well. Now, he's done very well last season. Taylor, one of the athletes that normally, that's Jonathan Taylor of Great Britain. He's 26 now, English steeplechase champion in 2011. So we've got steeplechasers, we've got 1,500 metre men, we've got 5,000 metre men, we've got all sorts. It's across the board here, but Kiprop, that tall, elegant figure in second place, along with Jonathan Taylor up in that leading group of 2. Then Davis behind him. And just looking, Kenenisa in that light blue vest in about 6th or 7th place on the inside. Remember, just 2 laps of this course. And that's Gareth Heath in the green strip in, 4th place at the moment. Gareth Heath, just to identify 1 or 2 more. Kiprop looks easy, doesn't he? What a wonderful 1,500 metre run, but you know, it's well spread at the moment, isn't it? Kiprop leads, Taylor in 2nd place. And that's Pinheiro, I think, in 3rd place now. And then behind him in the green strip is Gareth Heath of the United States of America. And alongside him, oh, well, we'll catch up with 1 or 2 of these, but this is Taylor leading, Kiprop in 2nd place.
This is the halfway point.
Well, you hear the announcer in the background saying we're at the halfway point, and the very best have survived the hill without too much of a problem. Remember, we've got 2 kilometres to go at the end of this. Taylor leads, Kiprop 2nd, Heath 3rd, Cassé and Magut. There's Magut, I mentioned him, the man who was pacing the very good races last season. In fact, the race, as I said, which Kiprop ran very close to 3:27. Now there's the Briton that we mentioned, Chris Thompson. Taylor leads then, Heath in 2nd place. and then Kesey behind him, and there's Bekele behind him. So is that Mago there? And it is indeed, that's Mago there, we've mentioned before, the other Kenyan. Now then, what's he got? Kiprop looks strong. Kesey looks strong, doesn't he, as they come into this hill. And Garrett, the 7th in the World Indoor 1500 meters championship, remember, from Minnesota State champion. He's also into skiing, the guy in the red, in the green vest there. And there's Chris Thompson desperately trying to keep on. Look at this, is a 17-year-old, precocious young man, takes it on. And Heath in 2nd place, Kiprop in 3rd, and, well, Bekele looks to me as though he may well not get into this. There's a real surge going on at the front, and the American Heath looks very strong as well. So a 17-year-old. Kiprop, though, we know can finish. Has he got the strength? Has he got the power at the end of this challenging, undulating, rhythm-sapping race? Kiprop moves wide. There's Bekele, he's found it very tough. Magu behind him, then Taylor. That's the hill that takes it out of you. Kiprop leaves then. These three away from the rest, and Bekele off the pace. But remember last year what happened in the final stages of the men's race. Oh dear, it was a real close finish. Here we go, here's the finish now. Kiprop into full flight. Here goes Heath. And Bekele, let's see what Bekele can do. Has he got a finish on him? Heath is coming away from Kansey. Heath and Kansey, these two. Well, what a turn up this is. Heath, the American's going to win this. I think he's going to take it. Garrett Heath of the United States coming through to the finish now. And that's a wonderful piece of running. It really is, ahead of Kansey in 2nd place. And that's it. Heath wins it. Kansey in 2nd place. Kiprop is coming into 3rd. Then you've got Mago in 4th place. Then Taylor, then Bekele in 5th place. And then Chris Thompson coming through past Taylor into 6th and 7th. That was a good race. Bekele really didn't ever get into that. What a good race that was. There it is, Gareth Heath of the United States, 11:51, very quick actually. Marase Kesey, 11:52, Asbel Kiprop, 11:58, then Magu, 12 minutes, then Bekele at 12:02.
Start of the season, you know, you never know where you're at. First race, just been doing a lot of training, and you always feel like you're never really fit coming off the outdoor season. So yeah, really happy.
Earlier in the day, the 2 junior races that contribute towards the overall match score took place. In the junior men's event, Alexis Millier of France, representing Europe, had a very good win, whilst the junior women's title was taken by Bobby Clay, meaning that Europe led going into the senior races. The scores at that point: Europe 57, USA 59, and Great Britain 61. These three now away from the rest, but it is very, very early. I've seen this, we saw this last year, and I mentioned Tom Humphries again. He went away very early, too early, and the rest caught him. There is a little gap opening up, but Hannes leading the trailing group. In fact, he's been taken over or overtaken now. But Derrick looks very, very confident, doesn't he? He's tall, very powerful, very strong, and obviously American cross-country champion last year, so he's got a pedigree, that's for sure. Hannes is dropping back, and incidentally, so is Bezabe. Bezabe, really, who was up there in the start, needs to get into contention here if he's going to really make a play for this. Remember, 6 to count in the senior races rather than 4, so that does make a real difference. And so you're looking very much 200 meters to go to the end of this second lap. Look at the way in which he's motoring down there. It's absolutely flying. But Andy Vernon playing it very, very sensibly in 2nd place, leading the British team as he is the captain. And Abdi tucked in, the diminutive figure, in 3rd place. And there is then a gap.
Chris Derrick of the USA in the red.
Now let's catch up with the athletes as they pass through. We know the first three. Let's catch up with the rest now as they go through. There we go. Derrick and Vernon and Abdi we know. And then you've got Mulher and Bobby Mack. Wow, well, that's interesting. Mulher and Bobby Mack chasing through there. Well, there's Bobby Mack behind Mulher. So that makes a lot of difference. There's the man who won last year. Yeah, there he is. There's the winner from last year. Well, Abdi is hanging on. And Bobby Mack with Mulhan in close order, but this is now into the third lap. 4,000 meters gone, heading towards the 5,000 meter mark. I think Andy Vernon last year was really strong in the final stages. He really was, but this looks to me, well, having seen this last year, I'm not counting my chickens. This is a very, very early break indeed.
And that's 4, 5 and 6 just gone through.
So the race would seem to be between this group now, because the rest are way down, and it's all about the counters though. Let me remind you, top 6, and we'll get a team score probably after this third lap to give you some idea of what's happening. But there's Hannes, who was leading, and there is the man who captains the European side, Bezabay, who's really found it tough today. I expected more from him, I really did. But the United States team not doing too badly. Look at that, they're packing well, but so are the Britons as well. So it looked as though it could be a very good performance by the Britons. Abdi now trying desperately to get away from Andy Vernon. Well, Derrick, if he wins this, this will be a magnificent piece of running, and really a risky way to do it. After 3 laps, look at that, 48, 55, 68. So Europe packing well, Great Britain packing well. It did look like that actually from the shots we were getting. And the Americans then, with the 2 men, Derrick and Mack, forming the platform, and the rest have got a lot of work to do to make the American team really score here. Eyes down. Good use of the arms, digging in, solid, deep in concentration. Last 2,000 meters, these little undulations, such a tough course. Overall, Europe 105, Great Britain 116, USA 127. It is close. It's very, very close. Europe just with the advantage then overall at the moment. And Derrick seems to me to be getting away, he really does. He's got the American cross-country pedigree, that's for sure. He's got all of that. He's a former economics student at Stanford University. He's quite bright. He's coached by Jerry Schumacher, just to give the American coaches credit, because coaches don't get too many mentions, and they should really, because an awful lot of hours spent alongside their athletes. Abdi still there in 2nd place, Vernon in 3rd place, Callum Hawkins, Mack and Mulher behind. So remember, top 6 to score. Looks very, very tight, and this last lap will sort it out, and then it's down to the women to win or whatever. Look at this, a little glance over the shoulder, and the margin is far, far too great for him to be caught. It is a brilliant run, an absolutely brilliant, sustained piece of power cross-country running by this tall American, Chris Derrick. Bashir Abdi of Belgium. Andy Vernon may well get him, because Andy is strong, and Abdi will have to really withstand a real assault at the end of this race, because Vernon will surely have a go to narrow that margin. The hill, look at this, head down, dig in, use the arms, relax the shoulders a few. Oh, and Andy Vernon, he's gone past, thought he might. Andy Vernon now moves into 2nd place, Abdi in 3rd place, and it looks as though, well, Mulher and Mack and Hawkins are there in the follow-up places, but this is a race for 2nd place, because number 1 man is far too far ahead to be caught. Chris Derrick, well done to him. There's Bobby Mack, and there is Callum Hawkins, and there is Mulhare. That's Michael Mulhare of Ireland, representing Team Europe. But the crowd applauding a fine performance here. And this is not entirely expected, I must say, but it is a very formidable piece of running by an American very much in form at the moment. Chris Derrick comes in to take this 8-kilometre race to give America just 1 point, and that's what you need. The lowest score, remember the positions are added together, so the lowest score is the score that actually counts. Andy Vernon, well, he ran a good solid race, you have to say that. And Abdi in third, and look at this, Bobby Mack, 4th place this year, 4th place, Mulhare coming in into 5th place. Callum Hawkins, good run by Callum Hawkins to come in behind Bobby Mack. So there it is, 24:11 it was, Vernon 24:21, then Abdi, Mack, Mulhare, Hawkins, Jan Hannes of Europe, and Joseph Gray of the United States. With 1 race to go, Team Europe 110 points, Team USA 114, and Team Great Britain 124.
At the end of the 3rd lap there, you know, last night we watched Bobby's win. You know, the guy was leading the whole time and Bobby ran him down. And I was trying to do a little scouting. I knew that Andy was known for some nice finishes. So when I couldn't get more than 10 meters there, I was a little worried that I maybe gone too soon. So I didn't really plan to go that early. It just kind of happened. But I felt really strong on the last lap, and I kept opening it up, so it turned out well.
We're into the 2nd lap of 3. Each lap 2,000 meters. It's blustery. It has been soft underfoot, but I've seen it much softer, I have to say. Great Britain need to overturn 14 points on Europe to take this. There's the overall, 158, 170 and 208. So the scores are varying all the time, of course, but that's 12 points, the difference after that first lap. So this is really beginning to emerge into an interesting race. Steel going well on the left here. Gorecka, Steel, then Belete, then the Duarte's there as well, and so is Perdue. Perdue is there. And this group, look to me, is that Johnston, I think, the American, the leading American? I think it is, yes. The lead American is Johnston. That's Kellen Johnston. She's 27. 10th place at 3 US road championships last year. That's the mile, the 15K and 10 miles. So she's been around a while, learning her trade. Britain is there, though, at the front. She's going to take some beating. Oh, there's Charlotte Perdue. She's so tiny, you lose her on occasions. But Gemma Steel, 7th in the World Half Marathon in 2012. I've seen her emergence too, and since the Great South Run in Portsmouth 3 or 4 years ago, when she was, what, 4th or 5th, she said, I gained so much confidence from that. There's Johnston going through. And here's your captain coming through as well for the United States. That's Van Alstyne. Britain still got a lot of running in those legs, I can tell you. And this will give us a clear indication of where we are with the 2,000 to go.
24 points.
Gorecka, deep in concentration.
And the final race, and we're into the final lap of the final race of the day at this Bupa.
Well, it's all down to this last 2,000 metres then, with just 12 points between Britain and Europe. And Steel goes through the line first. There you go. Gorecka, Britain, Perdue. Duarte is there. Then you've got Kellen Johnson, I think. We have indeed. And then Belete. And then it's Partridge, actually, has come through. I must mention her, and Steph Twell. Lily Partridge and Steph Twell. So That gives you a rundown on the Britons, and the American captain seems to have faded away a little bit in that last accounting. GB 34, look at that. That's a great team position. That means they would win if they could keep that going. They would take the British team home with the gold medal from this day. There's no question about that if they kept that going, because they only had 12 to make up, and it's a good deal more than that. But still, anything can happen. Let's not count our chickens. But we are in the third and final lap, which is 2,000 meters long. And Lily Partridge is doing well, keeping up. But she's been way behind on these two. But look at this, 158, Great Britain, 171, 207. So they've got the advantage. And that's the overall situation as we're going into this final lap. But this is a very solid piece of running by Gemma Steel, it really is. Gorecka being chased by Fionnuala Britton. Looks good, doesn't she? Deep in concentration. She absolutely hammers it mentally as well. She will not give in. This is hurting this young woman. But as she comes round and down the hill, it'll be a little bit of a respite, but the good athletes will come down the hill fast, and then they'll go up the other side fast as well. They'll really make them work. A little bit of freewheeling down there now needs to work hard. Gorecka coming across now, then Britain coming through. It's a very good run indeed. Gorecka does look tired, doesn't she? Britain's got her in her sights, Perdue has got her in her sights, and Duarte, surprised, is way down at the moment. And Britain is not going to win this for the third time, because Steel looks to me to be well away. Things do happen, of course, in final stages of races like this, when it's very slippery, very muddy. Anything can happen, but my goodness me, this is a terrific piece of running. She'll be filled with confidence now with that little glance over the shoulder. She's demolished Emelia Gorecka, and of course Fionnuala Britton, who's won the European cross-country title a couple of times. Now look at this, Britain really putting the pressure on. She knows now that she's got the finish over Gorecka, and this will change by one place, I fancy, as they go through that water. Britain's latched on now, and she is a very quick finisher. Look at the difference in the way in which they hit the ground, the long distance runner and the sprinter on the country. And that looks like number 11 is that's Gemma, of course. Sorry, I'm just with just 400 to go. It is Gemma. Just getting a shot of her again. And Gemma, look at that, works the hill well, works it really well. Almost smiling now amidst the pain and anguish of the final stages of this race. And Britain has gone past Gorecka. I thought she might. She looked as though she might. And Gorecka now really, those legs look very heavy indeed. Crowd now receiving a young woman who in a way has dominated the race, assisted by Emelia Gorecka for a long way. But that last turn, and all of a sudden there's a smile on that face. It's a face that she will have enjoyed this. She will have enjoyed it for several reasons. To win the race and then to have beaten the double European champion, who you could see way back, who couldn't match her today, and Gemma Steel of Great Britain, anchoring this British team home in the most magnificent way. Gemma Steel then hits the tape very shortly. Doesn't matter about the time, it's about the position. And it's a first place for Great Britain, and that's a magnificent run. Yes, indeed, Gemma, well done. Great performance. And Fionnuala Britton takes the second place. Now then, who's going to take the third? It is Emelia Gorecka. Gemma Steel from Fionnuala Britton, from Emelia Gorecka, Sophie Duarte, Charlotte Perdue, Kellen Johnson leading the Americans home, Stephanie Dinius, the second of the Americans, behind Lily Partridge.
It was quite slippy. I was quite concerned because I'd heard that there was a few tight turns and things like that, but yeah, I managed to stay on my feet anyway, and yeah, through the stream and everything. It was a bit, didn't run it last year, but it seemed for nearly slip, so yeah.
So, victory in the final event of the day for Gemma Steel of Great Britain, enabling Great Britain to take the honours in the match overall. Next up for us is the Great Ireland Run from Dublin. But don't forget to keep up to date on our website, greatrun.org. But for now, from Edinburgh, it's goodbye.